What is up, players? My name is Mike Doherty, and as you know, I am giving away a free copy of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy because I love ya beautiful faces. You guys have supported me. You guys have been behind me. Some of you are new to the channel. Some of you guys have been here for a little while, a hot minute, as I like to say. So I promise you I'm giving away this copy of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy because I got a review copy and I got to play it early because of you. And it's all because of you. So I want to give back to the community. And thank you so much. So, as of further ado, why you're here, why you're watching this podcast right now, the winner of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is Paul Potter? Yeah, Potter. Paul Potter. Congratulations, dude. I'm going to reach out to you. If you have a Twitter, hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to see if I could get you on the YouTube comments because you commented and subscribed. As you know, that's how you enter to win. So I'll hit you up in the YouTube comments, get your get your mailing address, and send you this copy of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Thank you all for coming along on the ride. We will do more giveaways. Before I did for every 10 subscribers, I give away a $10 PSN credit or Xbox credit. So we do giveaways here on this channel. Thank you for supporting me. And without further ado, the Chip Tooth Podcast. What is up, players? Welcome to the Chip Tooth Podcast. Chip Tooth Gaming's nerdy conversational podcast where we come to you, me and KB, talk about all the hard-hitting news of the week and everything nerdy. So video games, comics, movies, and all that good stuff. Alongside me today is the news guru himself, Kyle Bunyea.
Hi, but I'm not the news guru.
I'm bringing it back. It's just
you should just call me Old Trusty, because I'm always here with you.
Old Trusty KB himself.
Yeah, and it works because I'm getting old. I got gray hair,
a gray head, a gray head, kids, a wife. You're dead. You're dead inside.
Giving stool samples to doctors, all that old people stuff.
Getting finger up the butt for prostitute.
Not
prostitute exams.
They don't do it that way anymore.
Prostate?
Not prostitute exam.
Not
prostitute exams. Prostate exams. Go to jail for prostitute exams in California, sir.
It's the same thing, right? We're not in Nevada. Well, KB, it's been a little while. It's been a hot minute, and a lot has happened since we've gathered around the internet webs on this Google Hangout format. What have you been playing? What have you been up to?
I kind of jumped back into Destiny for a little bit.
Nerd.
Just because I was kind of missing it. And with all the hype going around with the beta coming out on the 18th, 19th, 18th, 19th, somewhere around there, just want to jump back in. So been playing a little bit of Destiny.
Okay. It's always good to jump back into something. Is that all that you've been really playing?
And still haven't been able to put Mario Kart down. Wrecking foreigners on the World Wide Web.
As America does. USA. Team
Trump
America.
2020.
Nope, that's not.
Don't get crazy, internet.
You're joking. It's a joke. We're allowed to joke still, right?
I don't know. People lose their jobs.
Man, I really want to jump back into I want to jump into Mario Kart. Because
yeah.
I had a Wii U for a hot minute. And then I need a Switch. But I don't want to buy a Switch until they sort their stuff out. As I've said many times on this podcast.
But it's still a nice piece of hardware.
It really is.
Comfortable in your hands. It's got some nice support. You gotta take the dive, man. You gotta jump in.
I need to. As a Sony tried and true fan, that's everything the Vita should have been.
Fanboy.
Stop. Leave the fanboy out of here. I'll be called that enough in my career.
Yeah. No, it is what the Vita should have been. It's 100% Vita 2.0. Bigger, better, badder.
Yeah. Well, KB.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? You didn't pick up ARMS?
No.
You pick
Arms.
up them arms?
I'm not a fighting game person. Nothing about Arms stood out as something that I would like. Smash Brothers is the only fighting game I play, and I get wrecked every single time I play that with anybody. But it's still fun. On that one off chance, I hit that smash ball and get my super and knock Chris Barrett off the screen, and then he shuts off his Wii before it declares me the winner.
See, I was about to say, you lose to everybody and get your butt kicked by everybody but Chris Barrett.
No, I beat him once.
No, stop. Just, you're bad. You're bad at this.
I beat him once, and the best part about the story is he freaked out and shut it off before it declared me the winner because he couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the truth.
If I knew his Twitter handle, I'd say it right now. Actually, you know what? I'll put it right here. I think it's
Ocarina Pro 2005 because he's a freaking weirdo.
Ocarina Pro 2005 on Twitter. Everyone just go harass that man. Just be like, wow, I heard your KB is better at Smash Brothers than you. I heard he beats you all the time.
Yes, please do it because now you have all these extra kind of funny followers from your Patreon visit, and he'll get really upset. He's super competitive, and you'll give him an ulcer.
Yes. Oh, the man's a broken man. But
I love it.
Please go do that. Just bombard him with I heard you're way Kyle just takes you every time at Smash Brothers, just destroys you. You never have a chance.
I heard you really suck with Sheik.
Yeah. Be like, I heard Sheik's your worst character, man.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that Sonic.
No, you know what the thing with Chris is he plays that distance game on Smash Brothers. He's the guy that hides in the corner, just launching crap while everybody else is fighting. And it's just annoying. He was Sheik, he was Zelda, he was Ness, he was Snake, just all those guys that could launch crap.
It's like Radek in PlayStation All-Stars, the stupid sniper across the map, just spamming it. Good times, good times. Well, KB, I've actually been playing Crash Bandicoot. I'm addicted.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Me? I've fallen down that rabbit hole, man. My roommate notices it. I'm seriously out here. I'm playing it every day, trying to do the relic runs. I platinumed Crash Bandicoot 2 today. I'm on 3. And 1, I'm probably never going to platinum, but I'm going to give it a try. The relic runs are so freaking hard, and they're so frustrating. If it wasn't for trophies, I wouldn't be doing them.
I don't believe that at all.
No, I wouldn't. They're just so tedious. But since there's that trophy there, it makes me want to go that extra mile. Because I want to say that I platinumed them, the whole series. So I'm 1 down, 2 to go. I've fallen down the hole hard.
Which one did you platinum first?
2. That was my first one. I just got it today. It was difficult. But I don't want to touch too much on this because right now, if you go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, you can check out my whole discussion with Tim Geddes and Greg Miller on the Kind of Funny Games cast on the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. A couple things I wanted to touch on that I didn't get to touch on there. I really like how they integrated a difficulty adjustment system for new players. So if Kaylee was to play it and is dying on a lot, the really challenging parts on Crash 1, they give you Crash checkpoints where there normally won't be checkpoints, where boxes normally wouldn't be. They give you extra masks, Aku Aku masks, which are hit protection points basically. It really, I didn't notice it. It was a nice little touch that they added to it that I really felt would be able to bring more people in and ease them into the franchise, not having being so freaking hard, because that game is hard. The first one.
Nice. For those of you that don't know, Kaylee is my beautiful wife.
Yeah, probably should have.
My child.
Should have mentioned that. You're right.
Yeah. She's not a huge gamer, but I do think we're going to pick up the Insane Trilogy because she's asked for it, and she doesn't ask for a lot of video games. So. And
she wants the Spyro collection.
Yeah, really.
By supporting this, you support that.
Really bad, but
yeah, we'll talk. I think we'll talk a little more into Crash. It's in our news for the day. So on top of that, like I've said, I've been playing a Wipeout, trying to gold. I don't know if I'm going to platinum them yet. I don't know if they're that achievable. I haven't really looked into their trophies yet, but really, I'm really into the Wipeout games. It's surprising.
Okay.
And
never played a Wipeout game before. Ever.
It's You wouldn't like it. Honestly, you wouldn't like it. I know a KB game. This is not a KB game.
No, it's another racer, right? Again, fighting games and racers, unless they're solely Nintendo like character properties, not going to be about it.
No, dude. I'm telling you, when Crash Team Racing comes out, you're gonna go down that well.
Oh, I'm sure I'll play it. I guarantee I'll play it.
When they do a remaster of that, that is the quintessential kart racer. Like, bar none. Like, I stand by that statement.
Cool. Yeah, I'll play it.
Fight
I'm
me.
gonna play it. I'm gonna play it. But yeah, so I'm not about racing games either.
It's like a futuristic kart racer. Like, it's like a kart racer mixed with like a realistic racer. It's very hard to explain.
Okay.
So it's like
I'll look it up. Stop trying. I'll look it up.
Sorry. My bad. And then Gravity Rush, I've only gotten like a couple chapters in. I right now I'm just down the Crash hole. I'm just deep down Crash's hole. You know what I'm saying?
Don't know what that's like. Don't know if that's legal.
Might not be. But
Two really weird illegal sexual references from Mike Doherty.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Going hard tonight. I'm tired. Running on no battery whatsoever. KB.
What?
Let's jump into some news. I sent you the news story. We've actually kind of prepared for this podcast.
Right? It's really shocking. It's super shocking.
Our first story, Sony pulls world's fastest platinum trophy game from the PSN. For those of you who aren't aware of the story, 1,000 top-rated. What's the name of world's? What's the name? Hold on, I'm
5-star. Something.
5-star 1,000 top-rated is still a. Nope.
You'll get
Where's
it.
the name for this?
You'll get it.
Man, we almost prepared for this.
No, it is a stupidly like, hey, buy this game. Yeah. I think Tim Geddes called it clickbaity. I didn't want to steal his words. So.
Well, I steal everything here. So.
Yeah, look at your background.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a big fan. I don't have any posters. All right, send me posters if you want a different background.
Kind of Funny Live 2, Kind of Funny Live 2 poster that you stole. Kind of Funny Live 3 poster.
I didn't steal it.
You stole it.
I thought it was mine on the table on Kind of Funny Live 2, and I grabbed it, and it wasn't mine. It was one of the signed VIP ones that they just had a bunch of.
You stole it.
Hold on. I'm pulling up the names right now.
So while we're doing that, let's talk about the ethical dilemma of taking someone else's poster and not giving it back when you realize that it wasn't your poster. I got
home and I opened it up. I hate you, KB. No, that's what it's called. A 5-star 1,000 top rated.
Yeah, it's a stupid name.
That's what it's called. That's literally the name. Basically, it's like a picture game. Those old picture games where you slide the tiles around and you make a picture, and you could do it. They advertised it as the world's fastest platinum in their description of the game, saying that you can get the trophy in under 20 minutes, the platinum trophy. Sony then, after it's gotten some coverage in the press, after it got some coverage, Sony told them to pull it down and change the description, and it still hasn't gone back up yet.
Nice. I like that. I like that. That's where they draw the line as far as games on their network are concerned.
Whoa. You didn't just make a crappy game. Just change the description and we'll put it back up.
Yeah, the game's still garbage, but don't talk about your platinum trophy because we don't control that either.
We here at Sony
everything go through.
We here at Sony have ethics. How dare you?
Yeah, they're just as bad as the what is the Android market?
All of them.
Android smartphones. Apple's got a little bit of. I mean, there's a lot of garbage, but there's at least like an application process that you have to go through to put an app on their app store. Sony's just like, oh, you have a game? We'll sell your game.
Now, it's times like this where it makes me think of Colin Moriarty's argument of too many games. This was the argument that a lot of people debated. People like Adam Boyes, high up in Sony, that said that by having that filter, it stunts people's creativity. But I think having a gatekeeper and a filter is really important, because then you get garbage like this and it floods the market, and then good games get pushed down while games like this get highly rated because, hey, look, we can get a platinum in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, the PlayStation Store should not be treated like YouTube.
No.
Nobody should be, it shouldn't be set up where anybody can create anything and throw it out there. You're a company and you need to establish some kind of credibility when you're attaching your name to an indie game. Like, by all means, support these small developers. By all means, support their creativity, but have some standards on what you support and what you're going to sell. I think that's what's odd in all of this, is just they have standards for their apps, right? The Kind of Funny app was announced a year ago. Still hasn't been approved by Sony, but 5,000 top rated gets pushed through, and it's a tile slider. Like, you cannot have stricter guidelines for your apps on your system than you have games.
That's a great point.
Games.
That's a really great. I never even thought about that. Yeah, I mean, look how many little apps that, like, they have less entertainment apps than Xbox. I mean, not the Nintendo, I guess. So I mean, less than Xbox, and yet they're letting games like this slide through that are just clickbaity, like, through and through.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't add anything to them as a company, really. Nobody's going, oh man, Sony's really supporting these small developers. Nobody knows about these things until a story like this comes out, where Sony pulls their game from the market just because of the description. Nobody would have known, except trophy hoarders, that this game even existed had Sony not done this.
It actually did get press before Sony pulled it, just because how clickbaity it is, and how, like, people, you put something stupid out in the world, people are going to, like, get behind it for some reason.
Catch me outside. Like, how about that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could just poop something out and people will be like, that's awesome. Like, this is all, everyone pay attention to this thing.
Flappy Bird. Okay, yeah, you're right. It probably would have gotten attention.
Yeah, it did. And then when they pulled it down, I think it made it a bigger, like, kerfuffle. Like, okay, now you pulled this game down. Is it going to go back on? Mm-hmm. Because I feel like if they don't put it on, they're setting a dangerous precedent. That, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I brought it up on the Gamescast too, so I don't want to tread too much the same ground. But it's the same argument I have with Kickstarter games getting kickstarted. A couple people disagreed with me, and that's fine. But if you have a good game, like a good prototype of a game, you don't need to go to shows. You don't need to go show it off like that. If you go to a developer or a publisher with it, or if you have a good piece of tech that you can, I mean, you have YouTube now. You can make your own, like, advertisements for this thing. Like, in the world that we live in, if you have a good prototype of a game or a good demo of a game that you want to get funded for the rest of the game, you can put that out there and it will get noticed.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to fund things. There's a lot of different ways to get your creations recognized. It really just boils down to, if Sony's not going to have standards for their games, but they're going to have standards for their trophy lists and their apps, they better be ready to answer questions as to why they're not doing the same for their market or for the PlayStation Store.
I agree. That KB, that's, like, an excellent point. I've never even thought about that with the apps. Now, the real question is, when's the day that we get trophies for Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and IGN?
Xbox already has Netflix achievements. I was watching The Office and I'm like, oh shoot, I just got an achievement seriously for watching Netflix 2 weeks in a row. I go to bed watching Netflix. I was one of those kids that was afraid of the dark, and not that I'm afraid of the dark now as a grown man. It's how I fall asleep now. I have to have some kind of noise. So if it's not my TV on, it's my phone playing music. So yeah, I got an achievement for watching Netflix.
Yeah, it's a disaster. They really need to sort that out, especially when it's like it took, how long did it take Crunchyroll to come? No, yeah, was it Crunchyroll? Crunchyroll took forever to get to the PS4. Mm-hmm. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Anyway.
I have no idea.
Agreed.
Sort it out, have some standards. Next news story.
Great segue. BioWare has announced, well, Mass Effect Andromeda apparently not getting single player DLC.
Yeah.
So the update.
BioWare, let me clarify. BioWare did not announce that.
Yes, that's why I took that back.
Okay, that was the third party group that supposedly was hired by BioWare, made that announcement, but then continue reading. You'll get to that part.
Yeah, so we have never worked with Sinclair Networks. So this is a quote from EA providing to GameSpot saying, "We have never worked with Sinclair Networks. They have nothing to do with the development of Mass Effect Andromeda." So basically, the reason they're saying that is because people who worked for the Sinclair Networks basically said that that Mass Effect Andromeda DLC, single player DLC, was basically canned. Yeah. Completely. Now, this is a report that originally came from Kotaku, and Kotaku is notorious for getting scoops and actually doing real game journalism out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and clarify too, the Sinclair Network is a group of developers that come in post-launch in a game and help sustain updates, do little changes to games after they've been launched. So they're not integral in the development of anything, but they help maintain a lot of things with games.
But here's the thing. Now, here's my huge issue with this. Because they didn't come out and deny it. They didn't come out and say, we've never worked with these guys. We are absolutely doing a single-player DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, they never said this story isn't true. They said, we don't work with these guys. But you're right. They didn't say, single-player DLC still coming.
Yeah,
they very, very not with any kind of tact avoided that part in their response.
Yes, honestly too, and that to me spells out that okay, yeah, this happened. Like this is like a little kid being like, because the story originally came from Jason Schreier of Kotaku, and Jason Schreier is known for giving the scoops on games and like breaking this types of news. Like he broke that whole storyline on why the game's broken.
Yeah, why the development was an absolute nightmare for BioWare. I very much trust him and trust his story. So when I read that, I go, great, this is exactly what I was talking about. BioWare A teams on Anthem, BioWare B team did a terrible job polishing that game and finishing that game. EA put way, way too tight of restrictions and deadlines on these guys to get it out by a certain date that they shouldn't have. So the game came out a year too soon, 6 months to a year too soon, and it got crappy reception from the Mass Effect fan base that was expecting something more because of the tone and the bar that was set with the original trilogy from the BioWare A team. And the B team was broken up to go work on different projects. According to the initial report, they were all split up, and there was a very small amount of the BioWare team still working on Andromeda, and that's why Sinclair Network was brought in to help develop DLC. But them or this story coming out really does confirm to me that Mass Effect is going to go away for a while. It really left a bad taste in, I don't think it left a bad taste in fans' mouth so much. I think it left a bad taste in EA's mouth, based on the reception that it got. I think the reception that it got left that bad taste, and they were just like, no, you guys aren't getting our money for a little bit with this franchise.
You're a big Mass Effect fan, KB. You've talked about this franchise like since 1. You played the game. What's your reception on it? Like, how do you feel about the game and what you played so far? Because I know you haven't finished it.
No, I didn't finish it, and that kind of tells me that the story didn't grab me the way the other ones did. Mass Effect 1's story and the way they told it and the way they developed those characters was done so well. I didn't want to put it down. I have played through that game start to finish probably 10 times, Mass Effect 1. And I'd say I've played through Mass Effect 2 another 10 times. Andromeda, it felt off. It felt like it wasn't Mass Effect, if that makes sense. It had elements. It had the same aliens. It had the same vibe. There was callbacks to the original trilogy, but there was something off beyond just the janky animations. You're stupid. Beyond just the janky animations and dead eyes, There's just something about the story that didn't click with me. There was something about the way these characters were bonding in the game that just felt forced, that didn't feel like a BioWare game. It didn't feel like a Mass Effect game at all in the way the characters connected and the way their stories were being told. Was it a good game? I think it was a good game. Was it a broken game? Absolutely. But I think a game can be good and be broken at the same time. You look at the reception that Friday the 13th is getting, that is a hugely broken game, but is loved by the people that are playing it. So I don't think those two things need to be hand in hand, but yeah, it just felt off. It felt really off, and I was really, it was so disheartening when I played it. When I first started playing it, so it was just like, oh,
this is not what I signed up for.
This is ugly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna okay, this is I've used to describe like Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Mass Effect Andromeda is like the kid with an artificial limb playing Little League Baseball. You love the kid. You're rooting for the kid. You're so proud that he's out there giving it his best shot. But deep down, you know he's not as good as the other kids.
Ugh. Okay, that's an ugly analogy, but all right, yeah, I can get behind that message.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Not knocking anybody with any kind of physical disabilities, because there's a lot of them that can do a lot better than a lot of kids that do play a Little League ball.
You can do better than me. If you have a prosthetic leg or arm, or you can kick my butt at pretty much anything.
Right. You know what I mean? It's part of the team, but it's not contributing in any way.
Yes. I get it. I'm behind you on this metaphor. I just think it's a brutal metaphor.
It is
behind it though.
But it's the only way to describe that, because it was a brutal game. It was a brutal entry into the.
It didn't fit with other games, and I feel like a lot of times we see this with games that get passed off to another developer, even though it's still BioWare. It's BioWare B Team. Like with Arkham, the Arkham series, with Arkham Origins, we've seen this countless times, time and time again, about games that get passed on to another developer that don't really quite fit.
Yeah.
Only a few times does it come out better than the original or equal to the originals, like the original developer.
Yeah, because I think something gets lost in the original vision when the people that poured their heart and soul into a project leave or move on to something else and someone else takes it over. There's something lost in translation. There's something lost in that handoff. And you're going to see that with any form of entertainment, any media, whether it be movies, music, books, comics, video games. You're going to see that when the original creator takes a step back, there's a little bit of heart lost in whatever the people that take over do. And it's to no fault of theirs, really. I wouldn't put any of the blame necessarily on BioWare's B Team. I would put the blame mainly on EA's shoulders because of the way they pushed them. Could it have gone better for BioWare? Absolutely. But I don't put the majority of the blame on them at all. I put the majority of the blame on EA. Oh,
yeah. Absolutely. Because you give this game another year. Sorry, I'm burping. You give this game another year. I mean, it's a good game. Like, I could see it coming out as a great game, even.
Yeah. And the timing couldn't have been worse.
They buried Andromeda. They buried that game.
It couldn't have been worse for Andromeda to come out and be subpar, to be less than what was expected. It was sandwiched by Horizon and Zelda. Good freaking luck to any game. Even if Mass Effect was done right and was polished and looked pretty, good luck. Good luck going up against Zelda and Horizon. Because Horizon had a month on it on the market. Everybody was still talking about it by the time Andromeda came out. Before any of the reviews hit, people were still talking about Horizon over Andromeda. It was just any game releasing in that window would have had a tough time.
Yeah, I mean, it got pummeled. I mean, right after Horizon, it was Zelda, and even Horizon got pummeled.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Horizon had some animation problems too, but
The characters that talk like,
and the dead eyes.
oh my god,
The
yeah,
dead eyes were the best.
This is why open world games just are so hard to convey like an emotional story. I think Horizon did it so well, but they still didn't hit the mark. Like it was still didn't feel like a Naughty Dog like story game. And that's the one argument I always use to you against open world games, because I'm such a big story guy that I feel like if that had that Naughty Dog linear polish on the Horizon game, then I feel like the story would have came out that much better.
Yeah.
But again, it's a different game.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's like my big knock on open world games.
That's a different topic for another time. But really, I think what this story boils down to is Mass Effect's going away for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of a bummer, because I feel like this is a franchise that could exist alongside a actually, you know what? I take that back. I think it was going away either way, because I don't think we could have had a Andromeda, like what are we talking about? Mass Effect.
Yeah, we're talking about Mass Effect.
A Mass Effect game alongside their new game,
Anthem. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. When you put BioWare's name on things, you expect quality, and holding the two next to each other, there's not going to be a chance that we look at Andromeda in the same way we look at Anthem. Granted, we haven't seen anything real from Anthem. We saw a little bit of gameplay with no HUD, so you don't know how real that is. The first time we saw Mass Effect Andromeda, it looked freaking amazing, and then
first time we saw Killzone 2 looked freaking amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it just there's not enough space in the universe for two space RPGs.
Yeah, so I feel like it was going to go away either way. Mm-hmm. But it is a bummer that it died. It didn't go out on a high note.
Yeah, I would have liked to see it end better, but whatever.
Can't always get the happy ending. And speaking about not getting a happy ending, Nintendo has announced the NES Classic.
Yeah, that's it.
SNES Classic?
SNES Classic.
Yeah,
the SNES.
Correct.
The SNES.
The SNES.
SNES.
21 games.
That's what I grew up on, man.
29. Excuse me.
Sorry. God.
I'm just kidding.
Who talked over who there? Huh?
That was me. I was in the middle of it.
I don't know.
Sorry, I've been talking over you all podcasts. September 29th, release date, coming out. It launching with 21 games with Star Fox 2, a game that was never released before. Got canceled, got canned back in the day of the SNES because Nintendo didn't think it was good enough for a 3D game.
Nice.
What do you think?
Is there going to be enough of them?
So, yes, Nintendo has said there's going to be significantly more, but what's that mean? What's significantly more to them? I can't say that word, so I'm struggling.
Significant. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to own it, but at the same token, I'm going, is Nintendo going to do this in lieu of the Virtual Console on Switch? Are they just going to keep releasing these collector's editions or whatever they're calling them? I can't remember at the moment, but are they going to keep doing that instead of giving us the my brain Virtual Console?
Yes.
Yeah. Because they're making a killing off of it. Why would they not?
I mean, $80, you get 2 controllers and a little box. Apparently the controllers are longer than 2 feet this time. Honestly, that's my big concern. That's the first thing I thought when they announced this one, because this is a solid lineup of games on this console.
Yeah. Well, I know, and to get Star Fox 2, that's pretty freaking cool. Like, I was a kid I was a really little kid when Star Fox 1 came out. I didn't get super into Star Fox until Star Fox 64. My brother played Star Fox a little bit. He rented it from the video store. So I wasn't a big Star Fox guy until I had a system of my own. So Star Fox 2 being on it, I'm like, I would love to go back and play the first 2 Star Fox games and jump back into Super Mario World and the whole list of other games. The only thing I'm kind of bummed about And I know this is all licensing, but Nintendo, where is the Lion King? Come on. The Lion King and Aladdin. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm honestly, I see those coming back like on all the consoles as a collection
That would
eventually.
be cool.
But no, going back to your point though, this is a very Nintendo move of this is what we're gonna do for our virtual console.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have these little boxes that you can buy.
Cash grab.
Yeah. Because I honestly like that's probably the most Nintendo thing I could think of. Is hey, instead of supporting this new console we just launched with our back catalog of awesome games, we're gonna give you this $80 box with the best of hits on them.
Yeah. Well, and I think I do understand it to some extent in terms of it's gonna reach someone like my brother who's in his 30s, has kids. Yeah, he plays, he plays on the Wii U, he plays 3D World with his son, but he's the kind of guy who would see that and go, I kind of want to buy that. That would be really cool. He's not going to sit there and spend $15 a piece on virtual console games if he can get all the ones that he played as a kid for $80 with two controllers where he can play with his son. I think the thing that turned him off on the NES was you couldn't find it anywhere. But I think it's just a different way that they're trying to reach a different demographic of past video game player and pull them back in. And maybe by pulling them back in with a low $80 investment, that 35-year-old, 36-year-old will go, man, I wonder what the Switch is like. So it could be a jacked up move by them, but on the plus side, it could be a way where they're trying to pull people back in and play on their nostalgia to get them invested in the Switch.
We'll see. If we don't hear anything from this virtual console in a year, I think we're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, I think it is gonna go the way that we're talking about, where it's just gonna be Nintendo 64 Classic, GameCube Classic. I don't think there was enough good games on the Wii to do a Wii Classic. But,
agreed.
No,
I mean, but honestly, when we get to N64, they're gonna put whole N64 controllers in that thing? Like, are we gonna get 4 controllers?
That would be freaking cool. That would be cool, though.
Yeah, I just see it. Man, that's just a problem.
I don't know if we'll ever get a Nintendo 64 one, just because so many of the good games that were on the Nintendo 64 were made by Rare, and Rare is not something that can be used by Nintendo anymore.
Yeah, those licenses cannot be on that game. Who knows? Microsoft's being very generous lately with the cross-platform play with Nintendo, so we'll see. Speaking of Nintendo, no Call of Duty World War II is not coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it shocked us all.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Not shocked at all. There's no way the Switch could have handled that.
The developers of Call of Duty World War II said they have no plans to bring the military shooter to Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I mean, that's the butt end of the news. It cuts off there, period. We're not really shocked. I don't think anybody really thought that there was a possibility of that. But that does leave the question of where does the third-party support come in?
I think the third-party support is going to be Ubisoft and EA and teams like that are big enough to pump out a game, but on the same end, smart enough to know what's going to sell on the Switch and what's not. Black Ops 2 was the last Call of Duty game that was made for Nintendo, and it didn't sell well. I remember being in lobbies waiting for matchmaking forever, and I ended up playing the same probably 300 people over and over again. I remember seeing repeat names, and I'm like, this doesn't happen on Xbox or PlayStation, because that's not Nintendo's market. No developer in their right mind is going to say, you know what, we're going to make a hardcore M-rated game for Nintendo. That's not what people want on their Switch. They want the platformers, they want the kart racers, they want the goofy fighting games. Are we going to get some third parties? that are a little bit more mature, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft never made an Assassin's Creed game for Nintendo ever again, just because what's the point? The Switch is most people's secondary console anyway. So there's no point in them making 3 different versions of the same game when they know it's not going to sell that well on the Switch. So they'll invest, like Ubisoft will invest their money in Mario versus Rabbids over investing in Assassin's Creed for the Switch.
Well, I mean, it is mostly people's secondary console, and I think that we live in a weird time where that's allowed, like that people can have multiple consoles, like a Switch or a PlayStation or a Xbox and a Switch, kind of the thing. That we live in a time where, okay, that's like the standard. Like you usually have one of each. Because I have all of them besides the Switch. I have an Xbox and a PlayStation. Not that much different. So I like how the Switch stands out, and I like how they kind of carved out that space, saying, okay, you guys do need this, but they don't have that many developers that can make first party games for them. And I guess indies, will carry the rest. But I mean, then it just turns into the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, except you're gonna get big support in terms of your Zeldas, your Marios, your Mario Karts, your Smash Brothers, your Donkey Kongs. You know you're going to get those no matter what on the Switch, because it is their primary. It is their primary product, or their premier product, and the Vita was Sony's secondary product.
Yeah.
Especially the way the PlayStation 4 sold, the Vita quickly moved to the back of Sony's mind in terms of importance. So I don't think you're going to see that with Nintendo. I think you're going to continue to see the strong support from their developers. But yeah, the third-party developers, I think they're going to make little niche games that are along the lines of Snake Pass and Mr. Shifty and God, what's another one coming out? A third-party one. I'm blanking. But you know what I'm saying. It's those kind of third-party games that we're going to get. We're not going to get, like, we're not getting Assassin's Creed. We're not going to get Call of Duty. I'm shocked that they're doing Skyrim. I don't see a point in it. Are we going to get Fallout 3? Are we going to get
Zelda? That's the point of it.
But that's dumb. I'll play Zelda.
They're going for the world record of releasing the same game as many times as they can.
Don't get me started on Bethesda right now. But it's just I don't think Bethesda's going to do anything beyond Skyrim Special Edition, because I don't know how well that's going to sell. I don't know what kind of market that has on the Switch. We'll see. But
my point is, like, I get that it's not a place for third-party support as in more mature games, but I mean, with the Mario Rabbids, like, that's cool to see that kind of third-party support, but you don't have that many developers. Like, if Sony only had first-party support and indie support, there wouldn't be that many games. Like, and can you have a console off that? I mean, I guess you can be selling really well, but I mean, if Sony only had their first-party developers and indies making games, minus the indies, you'd have 30 games maybe.
Yeah.
Within the whole lifespan of the PS4.
Well, I think that's where it's going to be different. Is I think Nintendo knows, based on the sales of the Wii U, they know where they failed, and that was they did not support that console, and they did not market that console appropriately. Marketing for the Switch, freaking gangbusters right now, and you can see it in their sales numbers. Support for the Switch, same. We're getting a game every month, essentially, until Mario Odyssey. And then, it's kind of up in the air what's coming in 2018, but that there's going to be more, because you're seeing them trust Ubisoft with a really precious IP to Nintendo that they never would have trusted with a third-party developer during the Wii's life cycle or the Wii U's life cycle. They are giving Mario to Ubisoft and saying, make us a Mario game. And I think you're going to see that more and more. Maybe they reach out to EA and say, hey, make us a Donkey Kong game. What can you do with Donkey Kong for us?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because developers will bend over backwards to make a Mario game. Like, make these games. I think that, that's actually a really smart move for Nintendo.
I think that's where we're going to see the third-party support. Is we're going to see third-party support using first-party characters and first-party IPs.
It's gonna be interesting to see if Sony follows suit and Microsoft follows suit.
Yeah, that would be
Like,
kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of interested to see like, what's a good example? I can't think of anything right now. It would just be really interesting to see like Sony give Uncharted to an EA or a. I don't know if I want that, honestly. So interesting.
It wouldn't make sense for Sony to do it because they have a ton of first-party studios.
But it would though, because there's a ton of franchises in Sony's stable that are dormant and will probably remain dormant, like Siphon Filter. So imagine them giving Siphon Filter to Ubisoft, who makes Splinter Cell.
Okay.
You know,
I see what you're.
And then being like, "Hey, look at this Siphon Filter. Give it to Ubisoft. See what you can do with it. Make us a exclusive game."
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think there's just something. There's something about the Nintendo characters that developers across every company hold dear. I guarantee you there are people at Naughty Dog that have super fond memories of playing Mario, playing a Mario Brothers game, where they, like you said, developers will bend over backwards to get their chance, to get their shot at Zelda, to get their shot at Mario, to get their shot at Star Fox or Metroid. And I think we're going to see multiple different installments of these characters on the Switch that were developed by third-party studios.
KB, if you were to see one third-party studio make a Nintendo game, what do you want to see?
I want Bethesda to make a Pokemon game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's awesome. That sounds awesome.
That's not even a question. I have wanted... Doesn't make any sense, but I want a straight up, like, what would the world really be like if these giant monsters were going around fighting each other? If people were in control of these monsters fighting each other? It would totally deviate from everything that Pokemon is, but I think that would be so freaking fun.
That'd be awesome. That's actually that's a solid one.
Never going to happen, but if we're talking Dream World, that's what I want.
I want to see the Rayman guys get a crack at Donkey Kong.
That would be cool. And you might.
Honestly, I could see that happening.
Nobody knows what Retro's working on.
Oh, here we go with this. I hope. Oh man, I just want Tropical Freeze on a Switch, so I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if Tropical Freeze comes to a Switch, I will buy a Switch day one. Like, not day one, but like as soon as that like is announced.
We'll see. It'll make its way over eventually. I don't know when, but
or the Smash Brothers. Just give me Smash Brothers.
Nintendo's shaking things up and doing things different than they've done it before by trusting people with their characters in the mobile market, and now we're seeing it on the console market with Ubisoft and Mario. So I think they're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, like I said, I'd be interested to see if Sony and Microsoft can follow suit on when it makes sense. Obviously, you're not going to give Uncharted to somebody else, but these dormant franchises, I could see them giving to other people. Anyway, speaking of games, that's all I got. That's all I got for a segue. Speaking of games, on this gaming podcast, it's really late. I'm tired. Destiny 2. The Bungie has, in an interview with GI Biz, have talked about the things that they've done wrong with Destiny 1. And the big thing that they said that they did wrong with Destiny 1 is the DLC packs didn't come out fast enough. That they didn't give enough content for the game that they wanted to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because you have the story in front of you. Wasn't it an interview with Activision, not Bungie? I think it's in the first paragraph.
Yes. My bad. No,
you're good, because that changes.
That's actually changes the whole story.
Yeah, because if it's Bungie saying, yeah, we didn't get out enough content quick enough, we didn't do what we wanted to do, like, that would be different. But it's Activision saying it, who publishes the game, who makes all the money from the game, saying, we didn't get enough DLC out. We didn't make enough money off of Destiny.
Yeah, that really changed it. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that changes the whole story. Like, yeah, these guys didn't work hard enough.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit because I'm like, I feel like we got a lot of DLC. Like we got the Dark Blow, we got the Taken King, we got Rise of Iron, and why House of Wolves. So it's like there was so much DLC there, and it was like $30 each. If you're gonna do more DLC, are you still gonna charge $30 each? Because that's gonna suck for the consumer, but it's going to be great for Activision. It's going to line their pockets even more. But yeah, it totally changes that story when you realize it's the publisher saying, "You know what we didn't get right with Destiny 1?
More money.
It wasn't the story. It wasn't the lack of depth in characters. It wasn't anything like that. It was and it wasn't us not delivering on promises that we made at E3 what the game was going to be like. It was that we didn't make enough money off of it."
Yeah, it's a bad look. I mean, Activision, for all the good that they've been doing lately, this does not look good on them. I mean, and on top of this, they moved over studios to work on content, which is going to completely skew the vision of these DLC packs. So they moved over High Moon Studios, who worked on the Transformers series, and Vicarious Visions, who did Skylanders and recently the Crash Bandicoot collection.
When I saw that, my heart sank because it's the same thing we just talked about with Mass Effect and Batman Arkham Origins. When you give something over to another studio, something is going to get lost in translation.
You're skewing the vision.
Exactly. And it's not the same thing as giving Mario to Ubisoft and saying make your own game, because you're giving them the character to have their own vision and build their own thing. They are saying, "Hey, Bungie, give us your story, give us your main single player campaign, your vision for the first raid, and now we're going to give the other crap to all these other developers."
Yep. Everybody else fit the mold.
Yeah, we're going to try to make this as cohesive as possible while pumping out as much DLC as possible. And that really doesn't sit well with me, and that worries me because I'm like, great, something else is going to be off about Destiny 2.
Yeah, those DLC, because it's going to be weird too, because you're going to be like, okay, this is a Bungie DLC. This is a Vicarious Visions DLC. Like, you could tell like how different they'll be.
Well, and that's the thing too. The best part of Destiny 1 was you saw Bungie listening to the community. With each successive DLC, you saw them taking criticism to heart and going, yeah, you guys are right. Peter Dinklage fell flat as the voice of your Ghost. We're going to recast that, and we're going to bring in Nathan Fillion, and we are going to re-record every single freaking line in this game, and we're going to update it and give it to you because you deserve better. Is that going to happen with Vicarious Visions? Is that going to happen with all these other developers that they're bringing in? I don't know. And it makes it harder for the audience to be heard when you have so many different sets of ears trying to listen.
And on top of that, I think they might move Vicarious Visions off of it. I think they might take them off of it and move another development studio onto it because, of course, Crash Bandicoot, a big success.
Right. And we'll talk about that in I think it's the next news story, right? Yeah.
Well, are we done? You say what you want to say?
No, that's it. I'm worried about the DLC. I'm not worried about the main game. I'm not worried about probably the first DLC pack. I'm worried about the subsequent DLC releases. As
a person who's not a Destiny fan, this just sounds like trouble. This sounds like something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like me making a soup and being like, all right, KB, finish the soup. And then you like put your own like spices in and like just ruin it. Yeah. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Classic case. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yep. And we have different flavor palettes.
Yeah. I just can't believe that they're.
I can't believe we're running with that cook metaphor so strong. Anyway, yeah, Vicarious Visions. You're right. Transitioning and segueing to the next one. They're gonna be moved off of Destiny for this.
Crash Bandicoot has been selling insanely.
Because of the insane trilogy.
Yeah, I hate myself.
You should.
Crash Bandicoot is selling crazy right now. Right now, it is the best-selling franchise of the year. Second best selling franchise of the year below Ghost Recon Wildlands. What?
That's nuts.
What? Like, outsold Horizon for a Sony exclusive. This is an exclusive game that has outsold Zelda. That has outsold Horizon.
This isn't like, are you saying they've outsold in the same release window, like the same amount of time? Are you, because I have a really hard time believing it's already sold better than Horizon's entire life cycle.
It's the launch window.
Okay, the launch window. I was going to say, holy crap. Like, because I read that a little differently. I read it slightly differently, but.
Well, if you think about this, the sales, the big chunk, majority of the sales come from the first launch weekend.
Right.
Comes from launch. So if you don't meet that first day, 3 days, like your sales fall off for every game. The only game that didn't really do that was games like Rainbow Six, where the community actually grew and the sales grew because it's an online game.
Yeah.
Single player games, you usually see the game launch. They get the majority of their sales on day one, unless you're like a Grand Theft Auto, and then you drop off. So Horizon, it has outsold Horizon. Horizon sold 1 million in its launch window. Mm-hmm. Zelda sold the majority of Zelda copies sold launch. I'm sure like even more than usual.
Yeah, that's going to be one though. You see the sales numbers spike up again this Christmas or this holiday season. You're going to see those sales numbers spike back up, and you might see Zelda back in the top 10 in video game sales for those months, just because of the
no way.
Just because of hear me out. Just because of the scarcity of Switches. They're trying to pump them out for the holiday season to make sure kids get them under their Christmas tree. I think you're going to see Zelda get another spike in sales because of how many Switches they're going to try to pump out before holiday 2017.
I don't think it charts top 10 in holiday.
We'll see.
I just don't. Honestly, I think the majority of, I don't know. Well, we will see. I think this is going to be interesting to watch. But I think that is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is crazy that in Ghost Recon Wildlands, is it Ghost Recon? Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ghost Recon Wildlands is on both systems and a PC.
Right. It's on 3 different platforms, and Crash is killing it right now. I cannot believe how well it sold. I mean, part of me was like, yeah, this is going to be a frenzy the first couple weeks just because of nostalgia running rampant. But I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the amount of love it's getting from
KB.
Different people.
We did it. We did it, KB.
I had nothing to do with it. I never played a Crash. I can't say that. I did play it at my friend's house. I played Crash 1. Hated it. And I never touched a Crash game again until the Easter egg in Uncharted 4. And I was
always gave me crap.
I was like, this game's stupid. As I'm playing the little Easter egg section, I'm like, this game sucks. What is the big deal? But
you always gave me crap all my life, all my childhood. You've always been a hater, and it's back. And honestly, this spells, first of all, Activision has outwardly said, like, hey, like, we don't, like, basically the door's wide open.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's next for the Crash Bandicoot franchise, but there's something next.
Right. And that's the main story that we were talking about here, is that Vicarious Visions is probably going to get pulled off of anything they're doing for Destiny to jump in to do maybe a CTR remake, maybe a brand new Crash game, maybe Crash Bash.
We're not getting Crash Bash. The only way we get Crash Bash is if it's packaged in with CTR. Like, there's no, even then it's like, man, I wish though, man. I wish if we got a CTR Crash Bash package, oh man, it's over for me. Like, that's awesome. That's all I've ever wanted in life. I'm done. Like, you can make all the Crash games you want from here on out. I have my 5.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about Activision saying they didn't make enough money off of Destiny 1. They're seeing how much money they're making off of Crash right now, and they're going, how do we make more?
Exactly what they did with Skylanders. They launched Skylanders. Skylanders is a whole success, and then they run into the ground. So I hope it's not the same story, the same ending, but I do think they kind of double take, and I'm gonna be interested to see what this deal with Sony entails, because I was talking with you earlier about, is there a sales threshold that if they hit it, the franchise goes back to Sony, like it stays exclusive? Or I'm gonna be interested to see what the deal was and what the behind the closed doors kind of meetings were.
Yeah, but I still think, because you were talking about that, well, I brought up the possibility of maybe, and I don't think the Switch can run it. We talked about this, but the possibility of Nintendo Switch getting a version of the Insane Trilogy, because I feel like it would be perfect for that console. I don't think the sales threshold is going to stop the Insane Trilogy from coming out on Xbox One. I think that ball is already rolling, and that's going to probably be out. My guess is by holiday 2017. I think in a month we're going to hear, hey, the Insane Trilogy is also coming to Xbox. I don't know how well it's going to sell on Xbox, because we were talking about it. If you have a PlayStation and you have an Xbox, what's the point?
I think there's no way in hell. I think that we're seeing that game in a year on Xbox if it comes out.
Really?
I think so. I don't think Sony was that dumb. I think Sony saw what happened with Tomb Raider, and they're like, we're not sinking our ship like this. If we're getting this for a year, and you're not allowed to mention it on other consoles.
Okay.
It seems like a Sony move. It seems like.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about Tomb Raider.
Yeah, because I mean, it bombed on Xbox because they came right out of the gate. They said it was exclusive, and then they were asked about it, and they said, "Okay, it's a timed exclusive." And then everybody who has a PlayStation is like, "I have no reason to go out and buy a PS4 for this. Right. Like, I'll just wait." This way, Sony's like, you can't say anything to anybody about it being on another platform at all, because then people are like, "Oh, I don't like. I need to play this now. Go out and buy PS4." Because I do think this sells systems, because I'm seeing an unusual amount of people on my Facebook timeline talking about this game that don't play video games at all. And I mean, that's just anecdotal, but I mean, I think you see it in the numbers. I think Crash is here to stay. Now, that being said, I'm curious to see what we see first. Do we see a CTR remake? Now, I think this is more likely because Vicarious Visions worked on Crash Nitro Kart, which is it's a great kart racer. That was a fun kart racer on PS2 with the franchise that I love. So I could see them being pulled to work on the CTR from the Destiny project onto CTR. But where's Spyro fit in? Because I know for a fact my Activision's kind of scratching their head and their chin and being like, okay, do we pull Spyro from Skylanders and put him in and do the same, give him the same Crash treatment? Does that go to Vicarious Visions, or does that go to another studio?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to go to Vicarious Visions. I think you're right. I think Activision's going to move them to do more Crash stuff, to keep that going, because they've been working so closely doing this Insane Trilogy and doing it so well. Activision would be stupid to put them on anything other than a new Crash game or a new Crash remake. I think they will use a different studio and say, hey, you guys go remake the Spyro games. Do it.
Yeah, well, they have the engine now. So the engine, that's the hard part. They got out of the way. They cranked out 1, 2, and 3 in a year. Remember, this time last year, it just got announced.
Mm-hmm.
Like E3 last year is when we got this announcement. Isn't that crazy? And they cranked out 1, 2, and 3 phenomenally remastered. Now, since they have the engine, we're going to see CTR get cranked out, I'm sure, because they've worked on a racing kart racer with the Bandicoot before. So I think they go to CTR. After that, I think they stick with the same engine and they make a new game. What that is, I don't know. I trust them. I said this on the Gamecast. I think we owe it to them on how carefully they treated the franchise. I just want CTR and go do what you like. Go make your game. Go be creative and go do something creative with the franchise, because I'm sure that sucks having to basically remaster a game from the ground up, not being able to be as creative as you want.
Yeah, you are definitely handcuffed to some extent. I remember reading articles or reading interviews with the director of Rogue One. Like, he was handcuffed by where the story led, obviously, and it's the same idea. Like, you're handcuffed by what's already been created and this nostalgia attached to it, that if you botch that, these fans are going to kill you. They will, like, we saw death threats with No Man's Sky, there wouldn't be threats with Crash Bandicoot. It would have actually happened. That
Yeah.
Vicarious Visions would have been attacked. Like, you are handcuffed creativity-wise when you're doing a remake. You just are. But I think, and we've talked about this before at length in previous episodes, that the platformer is back to stay for the time being. It may only be around for 10 years before we all get sick of platformers again. But we're seeing Mario, we're seeing Crash, we're seeing Sonic, we're seeing Yooka-Laylee, which is Banjo-Kazooie. Guy who's
we will see Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, I think we will see Banjo-Kazooie as well. What's the stupid one that just came out? The cat. What's the orange guy? I can't remember his name right now.
Orange cat. Super Lucky's Tale?
No, guy.
The hit Xbox One X platformer?
Well, yeah, Super Lucky's Tale, Ratchet and Clank. But there was another one I can't remember right now.
Oh, Bubsy?
Bubsy, yeah. I don't know what he is.
I don't know what he is.
I think he's a bobcat. I don't know. I don't know.
I think you're thinking of Super Lucky's Tale. Is he a bobcat? I don't know.
Super Lucky is a fox. Anyway,
ding, ding,
nobody cares. But the fact that Bubsy is getting a new game in 2017, Crash is definitely going to get a new game, not just a remake. Crash is definitely going to get a new game. I could see it coming out by 2019. A brand new game, 2019.
2018.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think a new game is going to come out first, a new installment in the franchise, or do you think they're going to do a remake first?
I think it goes CTR and then it goes new game. And I think in that time, see, this is another interesting thing. Do we see Spyro get kicked back to Insomniac for the remake? Because Insomniac has several different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Ratchet and Clank was already remastered. Do they split that team up into two and they just have people remaking from Insomniac, the original developers of Spyro, remake those original 3 games?
That would be kind of cool.
I could see them doing that. I could see that being part of a deal from Activision. I mean, because, I see that happening.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, because I don't think Vicarious works on the Spyro, but I think we see the Spyro remastered on the same Crash engine, and I see that in the next year and a half. I think at PSX or E3 we get an announcement of both CTR and Spyro Collection.
Okay. That would be cool. That would be interesting.
We might see CTR announced at PSX and Spyro announced at E3, something like that. They're going to be spread out. That way Year of Dreams 3 can still happen at E3.
You're ridiculous.
Now, getting into the nitty gritty though, here on this Crash nerdiness. If they do another one, I want another Twinsanity like Crash game. I want them to go complete, like creative, like just creative, like take it somewhere it hasn't been before and just stay true to like what makes Crash fun, which is platforming.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. Like I said, never played a Crash game. So I'm excited to kind of dip my toe in and just see where this goes. But
go straight for 2.
That's what I've heard. Multiple places.
Go straight for 2. And then you'll go back and you'll appreciate 1. Just go straight to 2. Now I was going to add something to this as well. Anyway, CTR I think is really exciting because I think they can add a DLC as well. So I think we could see a Sackboy DLC, like in a cart, just something stupid and fun. Excited, man. And new tracks. Oh man, I don't even get me started. This sounds awesome. Beyond my dreams. KB?
Yes, sir.
That was the news for the week.
That was.
Slow week.
But plenty to talk about still, so we're good.
Yeah, man, we went over an hour, and honestly, a lot of news to cover, a lot of fun things going on right now. I think 2017 is the best year for entertainment. I mean, we have a Spider-Man movie coming out today as this launches, when this posts.
Well, this is being filmed. I don't know whenever.
I guess
it's out right now.
Yeah,
people are watching it, watched it, loving it.
We got Spider-Man, we got Thor, we got Star Wars, we got Crash Bandicoot, we got Horizon.
We got Justice League.
Zelda, Mario. We have Justice League. Just look around right now as a nerd. Just look around at the time that we're living in and just be so thankful. Did you just hear the lineup I just named?
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. And on top of that, I finally got my Nintendo console that I've wanted for so long.
Nintendo didn't screw up a console launch. This is unbelievable. This is unprecedented.
Okay, yeah, 2017 has been awesome. And it's going to keep getting better. I agree. Agree 100%. Mario Odyssey is going to kill it. God,
I'm excited. I think
we can't go too far down this rabbit hole, though. We got to go to bed.
Yes, I get that. But I want to say, I think I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch before Mario Odyssey because I want to play that. Because after playing Crash, I've fallen back in love with 3D platformer. Like, I'm ready.
Get Snake Pass. If you haven't played Snake Pass is fun, challenging, irritating at times, but right up your alley in terms of platforming.
I'll just play it on PS4. I want trophies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just get it. Just get it in general and play it. It's fun.
I will. I'll have to look into that. We'll pick it up on a sale. Kyle Bunyea, old trusty himself. Thank you for joining me.
I like that.
Yeah, good name. I like it. You named your own nickname. You're that kid.
Yeah, I was that kid in high school too. Just kidding.
Kyle, thank you for joining me today on the Chip Tooth Podcast. Chip Tooth Gaming's nerdy, conversational, nerd culture gaming podcast. I can't come up with a good tagline still. It has been my pleasure to serve you. You can follow me at Cheeks_Jr. on Twitter, and you can follow Kyle at Sketchy Mailman.
Yep. Gamer tag, not my occupation.
Until next time, players. This is Chip Tooth Gaming.
Bye.
Curse the king.